Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? It's a main man here, double to the H, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive here in this crazy world, man. Hopefully, everyone is being, oops, okay, so I know that's where it's from. Hopefully, everyone is being safe. Hopefully, everyone is in good spirits. So I just thought, look, man, let's just talk films, again, as we're trying to get through this very difficult period, I just want to try and just keep people entertained with as much content as possible. Content in the football hot, content here on the Have Hopes Hot, man. So I just thought, let's just do films, because really during this time, this is the best time to watch films. This is the best time to watch films, and I've been watching a lot of films. I've been watching a lot of movies, which I will comment on very soon. So just want to start off with this whole kind of debate that's happening right now. And the debate that is happening right now is cinemas are closed. Cinemas are closed, and so many cinemas are going to go out of business. And companies now face the tough decision as to, do we just wait and extend the period to which we can put films in cinemas, or do we put them on digital online for people to view? And that is why, I picked out this whole Wonder Woman 1984, because, again, a lot of people have watched The Invisible Man, but they didn't watch it in the cinema. They watched it at home on digital, because The Invisible Man came out just before this outbreak began to get really serious. So a lot of people, because they didn't really have time to watch it during its short release in the cinema before the shutdown, they decided to pay £15, £20, $20 to watch it at home and via like Amazon or whatsoever. But the crazy thing is that, for some companies, they will say to themselves, you know what, that could be a good idea. In the case of a Wonder Woman 1984, you are most likely going to be making more money if you actually put it out in cinemas than at home. So, because I was watching, I think it was the John Campea show, or where they said that, see, the biggest pay-per-view event in history was the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, like 400 million or something like that, and that was at $90 per viewing. She has to pay $90. There is no way in hell anybody is going to pay 20, 30, 40 or whatever dollars for watching a film. That's not happening. $20 maybe, 30 no way. Nowhere even near 30. So if Wonder Woman was going to come out on digital, they will not recoup their cost. So that would be a very, very bad move if you're DC or so forth. They want to put it out there. But the thing is, if you're a smaller film, if you're an indie film, during this time, it may actually make more sense to release your film online rather than release it in the cinema. Because in the case of like an Invisible Man or this new film, The Hunt, how many people would have really gone out to really buy that film? So how many people would have gone to the cinema to watch the film? Because remember, you have to think about travel, cost, convenience, and so on and so forth. Because convenience at your home, it's great. And especially during a time like this, of course, money may be tight, but for some people looking for entertainment and looking to watch new things, they're like, all right, maybe I can just fork out $20 for this new film that I've been looking forward to see. And the issue is that if more studios do this and they get benefits from this, that could really screw over cinemas, But where I stand is that if I had a choice between watching a film in the cinema and watching it at home, cinema for me all the way. For me, the cinema experience is far better than the home experience. You can have the best home theater in the world. You can have, because look, I've got surround sound. I've got a pretty good TV. It is pale in comparison to being within the confines and environment of a cinema. A cinema is just far superior. But for most people, 99% of people aren't cinephiles like me. 99% of people are not hardcore film fans like myself. So for 99% of people, they're like, if I can watch it at home for a reasonable price, cool, I'll do it. Like 99% of people don't go to the cinema because they want to watch a film in the cinema setting. They go to the cinema because it's going out. It's a social thing to do. Most people treat going to the cinema the same as going to a club, going to a bar, or going to a restaurant. They do it as a social event. There's only the small 1%, or even maybe even less than that, that they go to the cinema particularly specifically for the film experience. So they're going there to really fully concentrate on the film. But most people really are not doing that, you know. So that's why I say. So let's just see what guys are doing. Yo, what up, 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 what up. So Homer says, who's gonna watch Wonder Woman 1984? A lot of people. I won't. You know, I definitely will not be watching Wonder Woman 1984, but that's a big film because the first film, the first film was cool. I just thought that Gal Gadot was a break in the film, but it's a big film. It's a really big film that a lot of people will want to watch. There's a lot of people it's a film that a lot of people are going to want to watch, man. So your boy DJ says, true. Most movies are best at the cinema. TV shows are good at home. No, true, 100%. But remember, a lot of people don't really care about the experience. People don't really care about convenience, you know. So, like, that's why they call it TV. It's TV shows or TV shows. Like a movie, movies were built and made for the cinema, like the way they were filmed, for the cinema, like stuff like whether you want to call like a Lord of the Rings. I tried watching Lord of the Rings at home. It's not the same. Watching Lord of the Rings at home is not the same. And we'll obviously get to Cloverfield as well. Like Cloverfield, again, it's not the same watching Cloverfield in the cinema as opposed to watching it at home. Those are very different things. And also, so just another bit of news. I don't know how many of you guys watched The Mandalorian. Pretty big news here. Because for me, as I said again, Star Wars, the movies of Star Wars have been horrible. Last Jedi is among some of the worst ones I've ever seen. Last Jedi is in the Brick Academy. Rise of Skywalker, crap film as well. But The Mandalorian was a little bit of light. And Michael Biehn, who was in Terminator 1, as well as Aliens, 80s classic cult actor. He's going to be in the Mandalorian. So you've got Rosario Dawson, and then you've got Michael Biehn. Like the second season is shaping up to be really good, you know, because and what I like about it is the casting. Because again, you look at like a Michael Biehn, you're looking at like a Carl Weathers, even a Herzog. They're really going in a very alternative, interesting direction. And what I like about it is that they're not just picking like, you know, the young upstarts. They're picking seasoned actors, but not really seasoned actors, cult dudes, you know, because again, like a Carl Weathers and a Michael Biehn are not guys who you see in many films. They're not guys that you see in many films. So picking guys like that's who, you know, they'll do a good job. But not only they'll do a good job, they'll give you something interesting. Because Michael Biehn and Carl Weathers, they're both very interesting actors. So, and again, as I said again, I was Terminator 1, huge, like Aliens, amazing film. And I don't know how many of you have watched Planet Terror. Really good film. Planet Terror is a really, really, really good film again with Michael Biehn. So yeah, so that's obviously with the whole Mandalorian thing out there. And if they can just keep the same creative team, I think that is the great future of Star Wars. The films I just think are a complete mess, you know. And in my view, I've said this before, Star Wars were just 3 films. And maybe this is another topic for another day. Is like, you know, how great is the Star Wars franchise really? You know, because for me, apart from those 3 films, the Clone Wars, how good is that series? The prequels were crap. The sequel trilogy was flipping horrible. Rogue One was just a rehash of Rogue One was just a whatever film. So really, you have to people have to really look deep as to how good is the Mandalorian really, man. Says I liked how the Mandalorian didn't take itself too seriously. Yeah. I mean, it's that I think not that it didn't take itself too seriously. I think it was a very simply made story with no political crap surrounding it. Because I think the issue with the sequel trilogy was like there's so much about how, oh yeah, this is why can't women do this like that. We're going to try and make Rey the most powerful character in the world because of how women were shunted and so forth. And it's like Leia was a great character, and Leia was a far superior character to Rey. Making a character impenetrable and super strong doesn't really make you a great character. It simply doesn't. So I do not know what the hell people were smoking there, man. All right, so let's just go over to um, some of the films that I've been watching right now. So I think because this is really a film thing, I want to talk about the Cloverfield trilogy. So um, I watched. So I've seen all three films, and I watched Cloverfield Paradox. What was I? So I watched Cloverfield Paradox a few days ago. Because the thing about Cloverfield Paradox, because like you can actually find it on Netflix. Many people said that the film was crap, so that's why I actually stayed off not watching it. So you shouldn't really listen to when people talk about films. Whenever they say stuff, you should always judge it for yourself. Because if I listen to what people said about Cable Guy or the Dark Knights, I'd be whatever. Because again, Cable Guy is one of my favorite films of all time. It was trashed by the critics. I think The Dark Knight is a pretentious average film. People call it the greatest comic book movie of all time. So always make up your own choice. And watching Cloverfield Paradox, I was about to say, wait, this film's all right. This film's all right. So looking at the Cloverfield trilogy is a weird trilogy, and I think that this should never have been a trilogy whatsoever. Again, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Cloverfield, so I'll try my best to try and keep away from spoilers and so forth. But the first Cloverfield film was a superb film. And the beauty about that first Cloverfield film was that it was a great film in and of itself. So by that, I mean that it's one of those films that it's such a great idea and a great concept. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do a sequel. It's a kind of film where it was made to be a standalone film. It's meant to be just a very unique, finite moment in and of itself. That's what it's supposed to be about. So adding anything on there or so forth is irrelevant, and it's pointless. So it's just a unique film like that. So just leave it as is. Leave it as is. That's the beauty about it. Because again, the first Cloverfield was the thing about Cloverfield is similar to, as I just said, The Lord of the Rings. You had to watch it in the cinema. I mean, when you watch it at home with a good sound system, it's still good. But watching Cloverfield at home is a superb, amazing experience. It is a superb, amazing experience because the whole thing about Cloverfield is the whole point of view. That's what it's about. The story isn't very good. It's just a monster movie. Like, it's merely just a monster movie, and that's it. So the story isn't particularly good. The acting isn't that's great. The characters are cheesy and annoying. What makes the film so good is how well Matt Reeves was able to sell you what it feels like to be in the point of view of someone amidst a monster invasion. And the beauty about the film was how little of the monster that you actually saw. That was what made it amazing. So you only make a trilogy if this story is interesting and the story lends itself to that. So you only make a trilogy if, like for instance, like when you look at something like Back to the Future, you have to have a sequel. I just finished watching Terminator 2. After you watch the first Terminator, you have to have a sequel because the story is so rich and it's so interesting that you want to learn more. You want to learn more about it. There was nothing interesting about the Cloverfield story. Everything that was good about Cloverfield was the filmmaking. That was it. Script was standard. Acting was standard. That's it. So with 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was obviously the first sequel, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman. Again, John Goodman he's a quality actor, and he was really good in the film. But as I watched that, I was about to say, like, this is pointless. Like, because first of all, like there was nothing in the story of the first Cloverfield that I wanted to find out more on. And as I'm watching the film here, I am not interested in the story. I don't care where the monster came from. I don't care what the monster is about. And as you're going through the film, I was like, there's like, why am I into this? So after I watched 10 Cloverfield, and all I could say was, okay, it was pretty well made, really good performance from John Goodman, and that was it. Like that was it, pretty much. So it was totally completely forgettable. And then they did a third film because people like sort of received that film well. And when you looked at the third film, it was like the third film is, it's not the more like it's not the most original and everything, but I enjoyed it far more than the second one. I thought that it was pretty well shot, really good acting. Like the actors they were able to get together were really good, like Gugu Mbatha-Raw, David Oyelowo, and so forth. I saw it was really really good actors and everything. Just that the weakest part of it was like the script was just felt very cheesy, and the film just felt basically the film felt rushed. That's why I think there was something with regards to them rushing it and putting it out on Netflix, because I don't think they had time to develop the script, and you could definitely see watching the film that the script wasn't very well developed. But the issue with the second and the third film was like no one cares. No one cares about the story, No one really gives a damn about the story. So why do you really want to know? Yeah, I mean, look, I really recommend don't watch the trilogy. If I was recommending to you, watch Cloverfield, the first. Just watch the first film and that's it. Don't watch the second or the third film. And if you can, watch the first film with a great sound. If you can find a place that has a big TV and a great sound system, that is the best way to enjoy Cloverfield. Because I mean, it was, because I remember when I went to go and watch it, like I think I arrived a bit late. So I arrived as soon as the film was starting, and I had to sit right at the front because I couldn't find anywhere to sit. So I just sat right at the front, and it was a superb experience. Like one of the more memorable cinematic experiences that I've had watching a film. So watch the first one, just really forgo the second and the third films, man. So other film that I was able to finally watch was What We Do in the Shadows. Now, I was avoiding this film. And the reason why I was avoiding this film, remember, literally everyone that I've spoken to about this film has said this is an amazing film. They keep saying an amazing film, amazing film, amazing film. This film is amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. And I just kept on hearing just glowing reviews about how good this film was. But the reason why I avoided it was after I watched Thor, Ragnarok, I was like, you know what? Taika Waititi, he's a talented dude, but I really don't like this guy's comedy. And if you don't, and the thing with comedy is you either get it or you don't. If you don't get it, you can never sort of learn to get some comedy and everything. That's why when you look at stuff like Big Lebowski, not everyone will get the comedy of Big Lebowski, and not even everyone will really find the very dark humor of Cable Guy very funny as well. But it's one of those things that once you get it, you really get it. That's the thing, once you get it, you really, really get it. So my thing about it was I just kept on avoiding it because I was like, okay, like Thor Ragnarok, again, cool film, but I just didn't find the stuff funny. As I was watching it, I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to laugh here, but I'm just not finding the stuff funny. So I said, okay, I appreciate what this guy's trying to do. And I appreciate his creative mind and just how unique his mind is. But I simply don't find his stuff funny. So I said that if I don't find his stuff funny, what's point is there for me to watch What We Do in the Shadows, which I knew was a mockumentary and a comedy. So, but as I was just, I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, I was just scrolling through. I was like, okay, look, let's see what I'll do. Let's blah blah. And it was just right there on Amazon. I said, you know what? Here's what I'll do. Let me just put it on. Worst comes to worst, if I really can't stand it, I'll just press up and I'm like, that's it. But I just feel like before you critique anything or say anything about any film, you have to at least watch it. So as I watched it, I was like, all right, and everything. But because again, the first few jokes, I was like, oh, okay, I think this might be a slog. But as I started to go and watch it more and more and more and more, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually pretty funny. And they sold the mockumentary concept very well. And it almost leads me to believe where I think that Taika Waititi's comedy is best served in the mockumentary um, format than in the more traditional format. For instance, it's like Ricky Gervais and David Brent with The Office. Like, I think Ricky Gervais and his comedy is best suited for the kind of mockumentary thing rather than just straight up comedy. Because once he's done, because I've seen him do straight up comedy and he's just not as funny as he is in the Office. But yeah, just for what we do in the shows, because I really liked how well they executed the concept because it was like, let's put a documentary team following vampires together. And the way they did it was they made it as real and as authentic as they could. So it really felt as if, what would it be like if a documentary team just went around filming the lives of vampires? So, like, and these are just vampires living within a flat and everything. So about how long they live, the concept of living for so long, how they sleep, how they have to survive by sucking the blood of people, and just their characters and their, because no one has ever really done that before, because we've just seen vampires sort of like from far away. We've never really said, okay, no. So we've seen stuff like, Lost Boys, Interview with the Vampire, the Blade films, Flipping Twilight, but we've never actually been like, oh my gosh, man, let's actually go deep into and behind the lives of these certain vampires and see what it would be like. So I thought it was really good, and like everyone was just funny. They were hilarious, and I think even Taika Waititi as well. His comedy worked so well there because I think his comedy is very situational. Like, he isn't like a gag comedian. I'm good enough for actually. His comedy is really based on situations, So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to tell a joke out. So for me, like, he would be a really good stand-up comedian. I think he would, because I think he'd be a guy who would really know how to tell stories, and this is the kind of guy who would be quite interesting to talk to and have a one-on-one with. So once you have that kind of comedy, it works. So, but so then you say to myself, okay, if I found this so funny, why didn't I find Thor Ragnarok funny? Because the comedy is still pretty similar. But I just think it's all about the format and also your expectations. You see, I know Thor. Like, I've been reading Marvel comics ever since I was young. So my concept of Thor is, this is Thor, God of Thunder, and he has to be a certain thing. At any point whatsoever, do I relate Thor to comedy. It just doesn't work. Like, Thor is supposed to be like, there may be comedic elements, but the concept of making a Thor film primarily a comedy makes no sense. So once I watched Thor Ragnarok, and I was like, Thor Ragnarok is a comedy. Like, it is 100%. It is a comedic film. Like, that is its genre. Like, you can call it a comedic superhero film or whatever. It's a comedy. And I just, so for me, like, it was difficult for me to wrap my head around that, because I think I even said myself that as a comedy, it's actually, it's quite humorous. Like, Jeff Goldblum was great, but my issue is because of what I come to expect of Thor. I found it hard to like the film and enjoy the film for what it was, because I spent my time saying to myself that, why the hell is Thor in a comedy? But for what we be doing in the shadows, it's a blank slate. It's a complete blank slate. So I can just go into it and I'll take it from whatever it was, because I'm not coming in with any baggage, because none of the characters in the film have existed before. So I can watch it, appreciate it, and like, yeah, as I said again, really, really well done. It's a really well done film, and I think that they've sort of, and even if I probably wouldn't want to, because I was searching for the images for like the film and so forth for the review, and I think there's now like a TV series, and even if I wouldn't want to watch the TV series, because I feel like, okay, that it's good as a film in and of itself, it is a great concept for a TV show. That is a really good, because there is so many stories you can do there. Like, it is such a great concept for a TV show, like, a documentary team following around vampires in present day, because there's so many stories, so many concepts you can get from there. So yeah, man, I mean, so what to do in the shadows was definitely Um, a very very good no it was it was a really a real good film. And also as well, like, I mean, so his other film, what's it called, the one that he won, yeah, Jojo Rabbit. You see, for Jojo Rabbit, that's a film that I I don't feel that I'm losing anything not wanting to watch that film. You know, because first of all, I just think that whenever I see a film with Nazis, I just think that is just way overplayed. Like, we've seen way too many films with Nazis. Like, it becomes way too much. It becomes way too much. Like, it's too much. So, and even from watching the trailer of Jojo Rabbit, I'm like, yeah, like, I'm cool. And also, I try and avoid films with Scarlett Johansson in it. And like, nothing against Scarlett Johansson, but everyone basically, for me, with Scarlett Johansson, it's very similar to like Jennifer Lawrence. They're just those actors that you want to just try and avoid watching films of, because you're like, they just rub it the wrong way. And for me, basically, I don't um deny that the Jojo Rabbit film is probably a really good film. Hence why I can't even come and make a comment on it, because you can only make a comment on a film if you've seen it. Hence why, I just felt, what, based on what everybody was saying about what we doing in the shadows, and because I just felt that okay, I think this dude is talented, let me at least just give him the benefits of that, and let me just watch this film. So, and I actually am so happy that I ended up watching the what we do in the shadows. But no, see, and that's the thing, it's like, even when I heard about the concept of the film of what we do in the shadows, I was like, oh, that's already an interesting concept. So me not watching the film was just like, I don't really know, man. So that was my thing there. She said, I found Thor Ragnarok funnier at the cinema. Bro, I didn't even watch it in the cinema. Like, I had to watch it with my friend, who obviously really like the film. So it was my friend who actually dragged me to go and see it. And look, Thor, basically the funniest character in Thor Ragnarok was basically the funniest characters in Thor Ragnarok was Jeff Goldblum and I don't know what it's called. Is it Krog or Korg or something? Basically, the character that Taika Waititi plays, the CGI character. Those were the two funniest characters in the film. And look, that's why it's difficult, because if, let's say, I didn't really care about Thor, I didn't know too much of the Thor character, I probably would have really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, because it's one of those weird things where, like, I can tell that, oh, this is probably a really funny film, but it's just very hard for me to get my head out of this. Why is Thor cracking jokes? Why is Thor in a thing? And look, in one sense, it's probably the best decision, because that was the most successful film, and it pretty much saved the franchise based on just how the other films underperformed. But for me, I don't feel that. Basically, I don't feel that that you needed to make Thor a flipping or what's called. Basically, you didn't need to make Thor a comedian in order to sell it. But look, it's worked. It's worked for it. But I think Thor's issues wasn't that, oh, it needed to change. That it needed to change into a comedy. I think the issue with Thor was it was people didn't execute the story properly, and if they did, it would have been perhaps better, man. All right, man. So let me take in your questions, man. Let me take your questions right now. So send in your questions, and I'll probably do like maybe next 10, 15 minutes. I shall take your questions. Um, your top 5 songs that are not rap. Top 5 songs that are not rap. Most of them are Michael Jackson songs. So Rock With You, Michael Jackson. Um, SWV, Right Here, remix. The Way You Make Me Feel, Michael Jackson again. Proceed, Pistol Grip Pump, Rage Against the Machine. And I would probably say probably Seal. I've forgotten the name of the song. What's the name? It's basically Seal, the key thing from Clockers. It was a song that he did in Clockers. I'm sure I have it here. Wait. Where is it? Downloaded. Okay, wait. Because it's a really good song, but it's a hard song to find, man. It's a really, really good song. So let's just see. Seal. What? That's not that. Wait, where is it? Okay. Yeah, but basically, it's actually don't know. Let me even get it because wait, Seal Clockers. There we go. It's a really good song, and it's just that it's a song that is really hard to find because people say, "Oh, Seal, obviously, Kiss from a Rose." Hey, what the heck? Bed of Freedom. So, yep, Seal, Bed of Freedom. That's the one, man. That's the one. So yeah, sending those questions away, man. Sending those questions away, man. I'll do last few minutes just to do some question and answers, man. If you like, I've seen Extras. See now, Extras isn't as good as Office. No, like for me, I put The Office as one of the best comedy TV shows of all time, and David Brent for me is the funniest TV show character of all time. But I think I preferred the celebrities on Extras rather than Ricky Gervais himself. I think Ricky Gervais was actually the least funny one out there. So then I said, best fiction book you've ever read besides for Dune or non-fiction book. Good question. I would say because again, I've not read that many books. I know I should be reading far more books, but I would probably say Martin the Warrior. Wait, is it? Yeah, Redwall. Redwall is a book that my brother gave me. Redwall, Martin the Warrior. Really good book. Really good fake fiction book. Basically about this army of mice against these evil rats. So because even if it's like a children's book, it's one of those like children's tales that adults can still like, man. So yeah. Oh, what? It says HH. HH is Juicy Biggie's best song. I would actually say what's it called? Machine Gun Funk is his best song. But Juicy is probably his most popular song. But I would say probably his best song is Machine Gun Funk. I just think his rapping on that song is supreme. Completely and honestly so supreme. So that's the one there. Do you rate Jamie Foxx as an actor? You see, this thing about Jamie Foxx as his acting, I would say he's a pretty good actor. If I was to rank him, I would put him as an upper tier 3 actor. I put him as an upper tier 3 actor. I think that would be the fairest ranking for him. I think Jamie Foxx's strength is his music. So it's so crazy. Like he actually got known for his comedy. I think if you were to rank his, because Jamie Foxx is supremely talented, but if you were to rank his talent, I would say first is his singing. So basically, his musical talent, basically singing, piano playing. Then I would say his comedy. So being a comedian, stand-up comedian, just making people laugh. Then I would then say his acting. It's like Will Smith. I would say like Will Smith is a far better rapper than he's an actor. Like for me, I would put Will Smith as like I'll put Will Smith again as an upper tier 3 actor. But I would say that he's like he's acting. I mean, as an actor, he's cool. But I've never viewed Will Smith as like a great actor. He's just a very talented dude. Like for me, the strength of Will Smith is Men in Black. That is Will Smith. Like I rank that as one of the best star performances I've ever seen. So it's not about acting talent, it's just based on a guy that literally just commands the screen and just literally just takes hold of you. What Will Smith did in that, like, it's amazing. Literally, basically, once you look at Men in Black and look at what Will Smith did, you're like, no, this dude is talented. This dude is a talented man. Venice says, who has the better performance, Keaton as Batman or Reeves as Superman? Which was a tougher performance? Oh, that's a really good one. That's a tough one. You see, I would lean more towards what Reeves did with Superman because Superman is a far more difficult character to get right. Like for Batman, there is so much stuff there because you're like, he lost his parents at a young age. He's an introvert. He lives in a bat cave. He has a butler. He now dresses up as a bat to fight crime as this kind of crusade that he now has. There's so much stuff you can grab onto as an actor. You can boom. But for Superman, you're like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, his parents died, but his parents died when he was as a baby, so he doesn't even remember that. Okay, so he's an alien on a different planet. There is not so much within the character's personality to grab onto. So I felt that Christopher Reeve had to do a lot more to sell you the concept of a Superman than Keaton did. But the reason why you've also got to give Keaton kudos is it's very hard to sell a performance in that bad costume because all you have is this. All you have is your mouth. All you have are your eyes that are pretty much covered by the cowl. But because even Keaton even said that being in that costume was tough. But the restrictions of the costume is what he used that to pretty much add much more depth to his performance. So if I had to say, I would push it towards Riva Superman. That's what I would say. So yeah, thoughts on De Niro's performance in Godfather 2. Oh, he was amazing, absolutely amazing. But the thing though is that for me, I felt that both De Niro and Pacino should have both won the Oscar because Pacino was so superb in that. But I think what makes De Niro's performance so good in Godfather 2 is, remember, he's got Italian origin, but he's really Italian. So just the fact that he has to really learn the Italian, make it feel authentic. So act in Italian, also act in English as well. And he had to evoke Brando because remember, he was playing a younger version of Vito Corleone. So he had to look at Brando's performance, not imitate it, but make the audience believe that, this is probably what a young Vito Corleone would look like. This is how he would talk. This is how he would move. This is how he would react. And when you actually look at him and look at how De Niro moves, how he talks and everything, you could definitely feel that, this is probably how a young Vito Corleone would act. So in that sense, that is why it is such an amazing performance. Because remember, doing anything similar to a Brando is a huge daunting task. And this was De Niro on the come up. So this was De Niro before, this might have been before Taxi Driver even, but this was before Goodfellas, before Raging Bull. So this was really the role that really made him like, all right, he's out there. This is really the guy that's out there. So it's definitely a huge thing, man. So from Ravenna as well, is Tom Hardy his generation's Leo Bale or Matthew McConaughey? Essentially, how good is Hardy, and has he reached his ceiling, or does he still have even more potential? Do you pick him or Gosling? Well, that's an interesting question. I think Tom Hardy is a very, very interesting actor. He's a really interesting actor who makes very interesting acting choices. And for me, I don't really like to put him like whether he's his generation's Bale or Leo, because I think those guys are just different. Like McConaughey, Bale, and Leo, they're all different in what they do. Because it's interesting because Tom Hardy says, one of his biggest inspirations is Gary Oldman. And I think, Tom Hardy is definitely one of those guys that likes to completely try to disappear into a character. But I think Tom Hardy, which is why, see, one of my biggest disappointments was Mad Max Fury Road. And I'm probably the only person on the planet who's only seen Mad Max Fury Road once and was disappointed by it. Superbly well directed, amazing film, and so forth. But you see, that was a film in which I thought, my God, this is where Tom Hardy could really own it. Because I've always said that, Mel Gibson is a break actor, but an amazing director. Like having Tom Hardy in that role was amazing. So that's unfortunate. So, but yeah, so I'd say, see, Tom Hardy for me, I think is, you see, he's different from Gary Oldman because Gary Oldman just doesn't have the kind of face or the presence to be a front man or a leading man. Gary Oldman is a guy that you just put in to play that dynamic character. That's like, oh my gosh, let's just add some juice to the film. But the thing with Tom Hardy is that Tom Hardy is a leading man. So he has the presence and the aura and the charisma for a leading man. But what makes him interesting is that he also has the skill to get deeper into a character. So for me, I think Tom Hardy can better paint a character in more detail than a DiCaprio can. And I feel that Tom Hardy can give a more powerful performance, and Tom Hardy can give a more realer performance than, let's say, a Christian Bale or a Matthew McConaughey. So I'm not really comparing it, but I just think that they are different. Because again, look, I've said to myself that DiCaprio is amazing, but I do feel like if DiCaprio is overrated. Same thing with Johnny Depp. Like I don't think DiCaprio is as good as people think he is. And Bale is another guy who I thought he was something, but he wasn't like, I thought Bale was going to be like the new. This is like the new superstar of acting now. Like this is like the new dude, like the new Jack Nicholson, the new whatsoever. But I was like, not him. And yeah, I mean, again, for me, between Hardy and Gosling, I'll definitely choose Hardy because I think Tom Hardy can do more and he's more versatile. Whereas I don't think Gosling has the same versatility as Tom Hardy does. Although, because remember, I think Gosling's strength are more nuanced roles. So Gosling is very good at really saying a lot without saying much. Whereas I think Tom Hardy can do the quiet role. He can do the loud role. Like Gosling couldn't do. What's the name of that film? What's the name of that Tom Hardy film? Wait, it's Tom Hardy. Refn. Bronson. You see, Gosling couldn't do what Tom Hardy did in Bronson. Like that's kind of role thing is an incredible, man. So yeah. Hurricane. I was just watching scenes from Hurricane, man. Quality performance, man. Quality performance, 100%. You see, yeah, I mean, I think I saw clips, but look, Gary Oldman is amazing in so much stuff. Like if you just look at Leon the Professional, True Romance, JFK, Dracula, Leo, these are some of the most dynamic performances, and the reason why I put Gary Oldman as greater than every other actor is because of the kind of wide palette of acting that he's able to do. That he's just able to do stuff that is so wide ranging that I've seen that he's that dude, man. Um, so so yeah, man. So maybe I'll just take two or three more questions, man. I'll take about two or three more questions. So send them out two or three more questions, and then we can ride through, man. Um. So what's the role that Denzel was born to play that he hasn't done yet? How would you cast Denzel? What genre? Sci-fi? The role that Denzel was born to play that he hasn't done yet. You know, I think that because I love sci-fi so much, I would love because see the closest thing that we saw to a role that he was born to play that he'd be amazing in was Book of Eli. But I think Denzel in a sci-fi action film as like as a sci-fi action soldier would be amazing. I think that's the role he was born to play because he has the aura, the presence, the acting technicalities, and so forth. I think people have really missed the whole thing of like putting him in a sci-fi action film as as an action dude, you know. Um, and even what's yeah. So so if you could do one thing over again for the first time, what would you do? Um, bro, hard to say. But you know, do you know what? I don't really think like that. I would say that everything that happened couldn't have happened any other way. You know, it is what it is, man. Um, that's the thing, man. So, yeah. So I wouldn't want to do anything other way because you know it is what it is. That's just how life rolls. If you want to be an actor, what would be your lane? Action, comedy, romance. Well, for me, I mean, I would definitely want to do definitely action, drama, action. I think comedy and romance is too limiting, but I would want to be like, I would want to be one of those actors that can do everything. So I'd want to do romance, comedy, action, drama. I think the best thing to do as an actor is that nothing should limit you. You should be able to do anything. And I think that should always be the thing that's for every actor. You should be able to do everything. And I think the greatest actors are the actors that are not afraid to dive into things that are outside of their comfort zone. Because as an actor, you want to do things outside of your comfort zone. You want to always constantly challenge yourself because that is what will put you in that kind of strong position, man. All right, guys, look, man, I'm out. I'm good. I'll probably see you probably on Wednesday because I just wanted to, just give you guys until Friday night thing. So I'll probably see you for the regular Wednesday night show again, man. So stay true, stay real. Peace out.